Good afternoon, everybody. Today is March 22nd, 2016. And I realized something this morning that I ignorantly assumed that grieving and mourning and healing was a linear process. I thought it was something that you reach one milestone and then you progress forward. And while I can certainly say after what God did for me on Sunday of showing me all the things that I've learned since my dad died, I realized that it's not linear. Sometimes it's circular, sometimes it's backwards, sometimes it's forward. Sometimes you move one step forward and 3 steps back. I couldn't explain why I was not focused and unable to do anything but pretty much cry. And so if it's anyone out there, you've lost someone that you love very much, don't abort your healing process, your grieving process for other people to make them feel better. I have to ask God to forgive me now because I've judged people for not healing how I thought they should heal, for not letting go, for not moving on how I thought they should move on, for thinking that because they have replacement people or things in their lives to take their minds off of that person they lost, that their healing process should have been faster or quicker, or they should have had something to kind of put a band-aid on it. But that's not true. A lot of times when we have all these things in our lives, they serve as band-aids, so to speak, but the wrong kind of band-aids. They serve to inhibit our healing and to keep us hurting and to keep us wounded and broken. But instead, we really have to allow God's process. And that's just with anything. Lost friendships, lost relationships, and the loss of actual people through death. Some people won't understand how you grieve, and it's okay. And you don't have to understand it either. That's been my mistake, to try to understand everything. And yes, the Bible tells us in all I get understanding. But sometimes when you pursue the understanding instead of pursuing God, you miss the message. So today I'm grateful that I've just been able to cry and cry in peace. But more importantly, I'm grateful that, God hasn't left me alone, that He's put people in my life that care about me and love me, to pray for me and to just let me be there to cry. So again, if you've lost someone, make sure you allow God to dictate your healing. Not you, not a doctor, not the church, not your family and friends. Let God dictate your healing process, because He's going to make sure it's a complete healing, nothing lacking, and you'll be whole. And that's one of His desires for us, is that we would be whole. I'm reminded now, I believe it's John 5, when the man at the pool of Bethesda, and Jesus asked him if he wanted to be whole. For 38 years, he'd been in that place, missing the mark every year when the angel stirred the waters to get his healing. So he was waiting on some external catalyst, or waiting on what other people dictated would be his only means of healing, when all he needed was a word from God. And so this is my word today. Healing is not linear. It's a process. And regardless of what you're healing from, as long as God is excavating your heart, excavating the rotted parts, the infected parts of that wound, and allowing it to heal properly, you will get the best healing for you. So be encouraged. Bye.